Hello wonderful people, you're welcome back once again to my channel, and in today's video I'll be taking you through why I think it is not a good idea for you to take up a master's degree immediately after your bachelor's. I think it's not a very good idea, especially if you are self-funded. With self-funding, I mean that if you are paying it out of pocket and you have to do it in your home country as well. If you are going abroad to study, that one, you know that somebody else is paying for you. I think it will always be a good idea that you take your time, think about it properly, weigh the pros and cons, have a bigger picture, then you can decide. And if you are new here to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe, and thank you to all of my old subscribers. Let's go straight into this video. So why am I saying that I think it's not a good idea for you to hurriedly take up the master's degree right after the bachelor's? Because unlike some of the schools in advanced countries like in Europe, in America, in other parts of the world where the master's program is funded, in our part of the world, precisely Ghana and other parts of Africa, the master's degree programs are often not funded. So this means that you have to pay out of pocket. So you just graduated from your bachelor's degree, you just finished your youth service or your compulsory national service, and you are going to pay for the fees. You have not saved up any money, and let's say when you were in school, your parents were the ones taking care of you, and God being so good, you just graduated and you just want to go and take up the master's degree program. It's not a bad idea, especially if you are getting some sponsorship or some funds. But here's the key: where most of these schools or the programs don't offer any sponsorship, and it becomes very difficult. Interestingly, the fees too are quite huge, above $1,000, and sometimes I think it's a bit too much. I understand that expensive can be relative, but I think that regarding the cost of the program, doing it immediately after school without saving something a little for yourself that at least someone else can add up to you does not make it a good idea. Apart from it being expensive, it can also be time consuming. When I was pursuing my master's degree at the University of Ghana after my national service in 2018, you realize that the whole program structure, we had this kind of coursework. So you take the coursework for, I think it depends on the course structure, for like 2 semesters, and they expect that at the end of the program you also produce a thesis, or a writing sample or research. It comes with assignments, it comes with lots of readings, and sometimes you tell yourself that, oh, I can add it to my work and all of that. And for a fresher or for someone who just came into the job market, I don't think it's a good idea, because you would really need to focus on building your career. Maybe like after a year or two, when you have really built your feet within the job or within the agency wherever you are finding yourself at the moment, then you can take some break or take some excuse and then just come into the and just start the master's program. Why I'm saying this is that if you are just coming into the master's program, it is very demanding, like I mentioned, looking at the course load and everything. So you would just really need to like combining both, because the job that you might have got after school would also need your attention. And the master's program, sometimes some of us just go into it because you think that, oh, it's a joke, I can just go into it and just make some passes and just get a certificate. Nope, because the lecturers too, this is their full-time something, and they would also require that you also come in with your full-time experience. So I'm now finding your feet. I don't think I'd advise that you take up the master's degree immediately, especially combine it with the job that you are currently doing, or if you are currently seeking for a job. What would you do if you now get into the program and then you get a job? Another reason why I think it's not so much of a great idea to take it up immediately after the national service or after you come out from school, especially if you want to do it in your home country where you're not getting sponsored, where you are doing it out of pocket, why I think it's not really a good idea is that sometimes we go into the master's degree program right after the bachelor's because we feel like, oh, I just graduated and I'm not finding a job to do, I'm just at home doing nothing. So to while away the time, why don't I at least take up a master's degree for a year or two? Hopefully by then I would have built enough contacts, and by then I can just find myself a job, okay, which is a good thing to do, especially if you are being funded. But like I mentioned, it's expensive, so if it's out of pocket, it makes it even worse, So I think that because the bachelor's degree is like a general platform, because you are taking up the master's degree not as something that you really want to pursue, but something that you are doing just to while away time. Oftentimes, if care is not taken or much attention is not given to what you are trying to do, you might end up choosing any program at all, whereas in the long term it will not serve the purpose which it was intended to serve. So because it's like a rush thing, you might not properly think about it, you might not properly weigh the cost outcome, like after the program what will happen. It's good to live on hopes, and then it's also good to live by faith, but sometimes looking at the bigger picture and seeing yourself what you are going to do. And mind you, 1 year or a 2 year period will just come by so soon, and later on after the master's program you ask yourself that, hey, why did I even do this, or what am I going to do with this with this master's degree? Meanwhile, other people too who might have pursued other goals along that break period or along that gap year would have also used that period to do something else, which I'll come to later. So because of the whole environment that characterizes the decision-making procedure, which could be desperation, which could be lack of focus or other issues like that, I think that due to that, it would always be a good idea to pause, give yourself a break, think about it before you decide that you are going to pursue this master's degree in a particular program. I end up choosing any program at all, and in the long run or in the long-term goal, you realize that really you've achieved nothing, or you've added nothing of value to yourself. So these are the reasons why I think that it's not so much of a great idea to hurriedly take up a master's degree immediately after the bachelor's, especially if you are self-sponsored, or if you are not, if nobody is funding it and you are pursuing it in your home country. Okay, so instead of doing the master's degree immediately after the bachelor's, I would advise that you build on your skill set. What do I mean by the skill set? When you're applying for the job, sometimes the recruitment agency or the HR will ask that you submit a resume, and apart from the resume, occasionally they could also ask that you add your like a support letter. And so occasionally in the support letter, the companies might ask you that relate the letter to what they are looking for you to do. And I know that for some programs, while you are in the university, they would demand that you take up internships, but not all programs make this compulsory. So sometimes you will not have so much skill set. So instead of you to take up the master's degree, it is important that you take time to build up your skill set. It is very important that you take time to build up your skill set, unless of course you want to go into academia where you want to like advance in research, which will also be a career pattern for you. But if you are going into like the real practical job market industry, I mean real world like kind of work, and not something regarding academia and research, then you need to build up your skill set. Okay, so just going there, telling the company that you have a first class honors or in this program, in whatever thing it is, and someone else comes and that person has a very rich skill set. With skill set, what I practically mean is, I'm not an HR expert, but with skill set, it's basically about your skills for the job that is available. So what are you bringing on board? What skills do you have to the job? So when you come in with your first class honors and all the top awards and top degrees, and you don't have the skill set, and someone just comes in with someone comes in with a lower HND or a lower diploma in any program, but that person has a very rich skill set or very rich experience. Let me talk about skill set in terms of experience. That person like a 5-year experience, and you only have something theoretical. Trust me, most employers are very likely to choose that person over you because they think that person will better fit the job than you. Do you understand? So it is important that you build on your skill set before you take any of these decisions. And with a skill set, how can you build on your skill set? You can take up voluntary jobs. I realized that back at home, voluntary jobs is not it's not a thing there, but when I traveled outside in this brief period, I've come to understand the essence of voluntary work and what it can do for you personally. Because when we graduate from the bachelor, all what we are looking for is a job. You can voluntarily decide that you want to work for this company, and while you're working for them, for you, the benefits you are going to get from them is that you get to build on your skill set. And even while you're at that place, you get to learn and understand the real world of work, what goes into it, what makes all the pros and cons of that kind of space, and you get to think about what to do. It could be just like a 2 months or a 3 months voluntary period. Then you decide that what do I want to do for myself going forward. Apart from this voluntary work, you can also opt to work as an intern. you can actually try to visit a company. Tell them about your degree, about your interest, or some basic skills that you have built over the years, and the fact that you want to improve upon it, and you don't mind working for them as an intern, and you can actually discuss if they can give you some basic compensation to take care of your salary and all of that. Mind you, they are not inviting you. You are there because you want to build up on your skill set, having a bigger picture in mind. Do you understand what I mean? So you're not just doing them a favor, you're also doing yourself a favor. You're also investing in your own self. So instead of you being at home writing letters and hoping that they employ you, take the bull by the horn. Go out and put yourself out there. When you have that experience, and by God's grace things just come together for you, at least after a year you would have had some basic experience that can be very relevant to other opportunities. And even while you are there, some opportunities could just come at where you are working where you are an intern currently, or could come at through their sister companies or their sister agencies, or through the world of work while you are just present. Okay, so apart from being an intern, you can also invest in yourself by attending conferences. So occasionally, if you're in the industry of, let's say, oil and gas, if you're in the industry of health, if you're in the industry of education, communication, occasionally there will be conferences where people will be asked to come and speak to you, to come and talk to you about what is ongoing, just so you get like you are still equipped, or just so you are still in the industry where you want to be. Because when you are home, you are not really at the center of what's happening. But when you attend these conferences, then you are still up to date and updated on what's happening in the industry where you want to work. So while you attend these conferences, you also learn to build a larger network base, and while you build this network base, you can make some contact, and eventually, by the grace of God, things can come out of that. And after that, you can also look at pursuing a master's, and by then you would have looked at all of these situations. You have got a bigger picture of the whole thing, and you can pursue a master's degree knowing very well that this is what I really want to do, and this will fetch me the outcome I'm looking for. It will not be like one of those things where you just go after 2 years or after a year hoping that after this master's degree I'll get a job to do. I hope this clarifies certain thoughts in your head. Apart from networking with these people, you also meet, when you go for these conferences, you also meet some key industry players, some big people and some big women and all of that. You can put up yourself to be mentored. You want them to be, you want to be their mentee while they are your mentors, so you can follow their path. They can show you what they did earlier. You just put yourself out there. These are ways that you should invest in yourself. It can take like a few months or a few weeks. That can help you best decide which type of master's degree you would like to take. I just hope things are getting clearer now. Okay, these are things that you can actually do while you wait to decide if you want to pursue a master's degree, or you just want to do something else while you wait to pursue later. The whole import of this video is to tell you that you don't have to necessarily jump into it if you are not ready to do so, because it can be very consuming. Okay, and apart from pursuing a master's degree, the other thing you can pursue is a professional program. So there are lots of professional courses in data analytics, in HR, in procurement, in logistics, MBA, accounting, so many of them. So whatever you did in the bachelor's degree does not always matter. As long as you have a bigger picture of where you want to go now, then you can take up a professional course, and that one would make you a professional at a particular thing, not something broad or something general that some master's degree could give you, but this will make your marketability. This will add another thing to your marketability. So you have that professional certificate, and you also have the skill set, and you're also building on your network base, and based on that, you know that you're actually putting yourself out there to be very, 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 very marketable. So whenever you're on the job market, the employers can easily recruit you. So what I'll do is that, God willing, this particular month of April, next Sunday to be precise, I don't know so much about professional courses, so God willing, next Sunday, which is on 23rd of April, I'll be hosting someone who went through the professional route and is currently a senior HR executive in Ghana. So she's going to talk to us about the professional route, why she chose that route and all of that. So if you are here and you are watching me and you are looking for some of these opportunities, this particular month of April, I'll be hosting her, and she'll take us through whatever she would like to tell us. The time is 16:30 GMT. So we'll host her for about an hour to an hour and a half, coming with all of your questions. And so she just talked to us, okay, so we'll know what to do going forward. I hope that this video would help you, guide you in all of your decisions, okay? So that you just don't go into the masters for the niceness of it, but you go into it more focused, more happy, knowing what you want to do. And definitely, if you go into it with this particular mindset, you get a lot out of it. You go in prepared, and then by the end of your program, whatever you might have, the input you would get, you are going to get more output, even more than you expected. Okay, so I hope this video has been good. Thank you, and it's like come your way again some other time. Take care.